everybody see me okay? Can you hear me okay? Send me some hearts to let me know that you did. Vegas, okay. Chicago, okay. Thank you so much for joining tonight. We're going to just jump into it in about 5 minutes. Atlanta, yes, I see you, Atlanta. Thank you so much for joining and being a part. I have my girls here, so we are getting ready. We are getting ready to have the conversation. So it's about to go down. We're about to have the conversation that we so desperately need to have with our sisters and with our girls. So just come in. While we're waiting, can you just get other people to come on into the live? Can you get other people to join in to the live tonight so that we can just have a great girl talk? You know, when you get with your girls and you talk about so many different things, but very rarely do we get into this conversation. So I'm excited to get into an intimate conversation with my girls. And as you can hear, we have Destiny's Child girl playing in the background because it was an intimate moment between those sisters having a conversation about things that someone else was going through. So that's what we're going to do tonight. We're going to have a conversation about something that one of our sisters may be going through or something that I was going through, right? So I just need everybody to come in and get ready for the talk. So I have my sisters with me tonight, and they are going to join me now. We got water. I'm supposed to have some cider. I don't know what happened.
Hey.
But we got my sister Dree here.
Hey.
We got my sister Will here.
Hey,
We got my girls. We got my girls. Send us some hearts. I got my girls here with me tonight, and we are gonna have a talk about health. We're gonna talk about everything, right?
Everything.
We should talk about everything.
No limits.
No limits. No limits.
Go.
Wait. We might have to
curve a bit.
have a somewhat of a limit on the conversation. But if you have your girls, if your girls are on Instagram, bring your girls in because I want to help us prepare to have this conversation that we probably never had with our sister girls, right? Mm-hmm. So we want to do that tonight. And I'm just so grateful to have my sister Wilda Jane Martin Carr. She is known as @iChocolate Chick. And she is a newlywed. So we gotta get out of here soon because sis just got married and we're not trying to hold her up. We're not trying to hold her up. And then I have my other sis here, Andrea Griffin.
Hey,
y'all.
Hey,
Sis is already married with a family and everything.
15.
So listen, we gotta get these married folks out of here. But every now and then when we find time in our busy schedules, we like to get together. We like to just chop it up and share our stories with each other, what's going on in our lives with each other. And we want to do that tonight. We want to catch up because it's been a little while since we've actually been together. So this is special for so many reasons. It's special because we get to share with you all, right? But it's also special because we get to spend time together. We're not usually this much. But so let me just let you all in it. We have very, very different personalities, right? So Wilda is, she's low key. She's pretty.
Did she just go to dry though?
Just a little.
She's the low key one, right? And Dree she's the comedian, right? She's the funny one. She's the one that's gonna bust out laughing at any given moment. And I'm pretty much the reasoner. I'm pretty even tone like this, right? But when we get together, we are our silliest, right? Because we're comfortable. We are comfortable.
We are.
And so that's what I wanted to do tonight. I wanted to get together with sisters that I'm actually very comfortable with having a conversation, and I feel like it's kind of interesting that we've never had this talk before because we talk about everything, right? And so I want to shout out Fibroid Fighters for actually allowing me to even do this tonight. I want to shout out Fibroid Fighters for giving me an opportunity to have this conversation with my family and with my sisters. I want to shout out all of the ambassadors that are on board. But we want to get into the conversation of health, right?
Yeah.
There's so many different things that we deal with as women. You know, we deal with serious emotional issues, right? Because we're women. And we also deal with, you know, the pains of life. We deal with having menstrual cycles once a month, right? And so we deal with things on a consistent basis every single day. But once a month, at least for most people, we have to deal with what we only can relate to. Men can't relate to this.
Can't, right.
So, you know, we might say, girl.
No, they can. It's just in a different type of way.
Oh, see, that.
Men PMS.
Me.
So,
to be clear.
Let's just.
They're married,
they just
so
don't have a flow.
They would know,
they have
right?
a flow.
They would know.
You know, they don't have to waste
It
sanitary
happens.
napkins, but they
definitely have moments.
Once a month.
Yes.
Y'all heard it here, right?
First. Men, you heard it here first.
It's the truth.
Okay. But I think that that's good that you brought that out, because we're going to talk about that, because a lot of men or a lot of people don't feel like this conversation affects men. And I think that it does. This conversation definitely affects men, but let's back up for a second. When I was going through my experience with what I was going through, you ladies were really right there, but didn't really know everything that I was experiencing. You know, Wilda more so because she was closer, but Dree, even when we talked, you know, I was very vague, even with you, and I really didn't know the extent of what it was that I was experiencing. But as I shared with some of you already with Dr. Kim Lee, you know, I had been dealing with this for 20 years. And that's really crazy.
Yeah,
because there were times when we were supposed to get together and I didn't feel like it. They didn't really know, like, why G bailing on us? Why are we getting together and spending time? And I would just be feeling so fatigued, moody, right? Tired.
A bit. We're not gonna put this out on Front Street, but just.
It causes you to feel so many different things, and because you don't understand what's going on with your body, it puts you in a place that you feel very, very tired and fatigued and moody, right? But what is actual? What really is the issue? What is fibroids? Like, what do you think fibroids is?
I think they're like little pockets of things that clog up your, or you know, multiply in your uterus, right?
Okay.
That's what I thought.
Okay. What do you think fibroids?
Yeah, it's like basically like blood clots on steroids.
Blood clots on steroids, right? And there's so many different, because it's not something that we do talk about. There's so many different definitions that people have to make it make sense. But fibroids are, you know, in definition, like tumor-like tissue,
or like cysts, right? Like they refer like a cyst.
Some have defined it as a cyst, but let me give you the actual definition because I think this is important. What?
Oh, sorry.
Fibroids are tumors that are made up of smooth muscle cells and fibroid tissues. They can be as small as a seed or as large as a watermelon. What do you guys think about that?
A watermelon is like really big.
It's really, really big.
I mean, seed is like, you know, when I think seed is like mustard seed thing, you know. So like, hey,
she's so big,
right? No, but the watermelon kind of takes me a little further into that. That's like carrying a baby. Like
that's like carrying a baby,
that's like
right?
huge, yeah.
Right. So imagine somebody having to deal with carrying something that huge in their body for years.
Wow.
And imagine somebody having to carry something like that in their body that may not be compacted as a watermelon, but you have so many. If you put them all together, they're basically like little watermelons. So for me, I had 12. Was it 12 or 13?
It was a bunch of.
I had about 12 fibroid tumors in my body. And the smallest one was 3 centimeters. So if you think about that and you put them all together, I'm looking at a watermelon that's chopped up in pieces.
Wow.
And how much does a watermelon usually weigh? Like, it can be from 3 to 5 pounds to about 6 pounds. So
Right.
you're carrying that extra weight on a daily basis, right? How painful that can be, and that's
Tiring.
what we deal with as women.
Yeah.
You know what people don't realize is that fibroids are hereditary, or they can be hereditary.
Right.
And people don't know to look into it because they don't know their family history.
Right.
But it is said that if you have fibroids in the line of your family, you're more than likely at risk to have fibroids yourself.
Wow. Right.
So, like,
It's similar to like cancer or
It's-
diabetes.
yeah,
And things like that.
well, more
if
so-
it runs in your bloodline. Then,
right, more so like diabetes, because cancer, you know, it's very rare that you can pass cancer on as a family member, but they want to know these types
It's
of things
still-
when
yeah.
you go to the doctor, is that it's a possibility. But fibroids is something that you can get from the age, starting at the age of like 18 to 35.
Wow.
And you can actually already have them and not know.
Right.
So
Right.
they said something along the lines of, if you have your cycle at 9 or early age, you're more inclined to get fibroids.
Maybe that's why I would have one, because mine came, I was like well into high school, child, trying to figure out why I wasn't a woman.
Oh wow.
Why am I not a woman?
Why am I not? So isn't that something that we associate
That's crazy.
being
Yeah.
a woman with having our cycle?
Right,
having our
right,
Right.
yeah.
And I think that that's very interesting, because that's what our parents kind of tell us, right? I remember when my niece, she got her cycle, it was the cutest thing, but my sister gave her this little cute fanny pack pocketbook, and it had like a diary in it. It had her first like period packaging. It had like a tracker, a period tracker, which is very important, not just for you having your cycle, but the period tracker, which we also have on our Fibroid Fighters website, is intentional for you being able to keep up with your cycle, your menstrual cycle, or even if you want to have children. All of these things are helpful in order to give us information or estimation on what's going on in our bodies. We need to know these type of things. So, ladies, let's talk a little bit about, have you ever had to deal with long cycles like that? What is your experience with, you know, we want to get intimate, we want to kind of get into it with people.
Yeah.
What is your experience with your
Mine vary. They go from anywhere from 9. I think 9 is maybe the max, maybe like 9. Yeah, 9 days I would say is
9 days.
Yeah.
Wow. And would you say that your cycle is pretty heavy or pretty regular? Like, what would you say about yours specifically?
I would say it's heavy. I would say, yeah, it's heavy.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
What about you? How long do you normally have a cycle for?
So it varies for me, like according to like the seasons. But typically it's like really like 5 to 7. It's kind of lengthy.
Wow.
It is kind of lengthy.
Wow.
I know some people only have it for like 3 days. Some people only
God
have
bless
it for
them.
4. I don't know.
I've never seen periods. No.
I wish.
Yeah. And so would you say like it's a heavy flow, or is it just
Yeah, like
a
initially it starts off heavy and then, you know, moderately it declines.
Can any of you relate to that? Can you relate to
To what?
having a cycle? And I'm asking the people here because I want to get into our viewers. How many of you ladies have your cycle for longer than 7 days? Just send me some hearts. If you don't have to say your name, just send me some hearts if you had your cycle for longer than 7 days. Or if you have really heavy cycles, like they're really heavy. If you're in here. Okay, so nobody really experiences that. That's really good, because that's a good sign. One of the things that people need to realize is that having cycles. Oh, I see some hearts now. Okay, having your cycle for more than 7 days is one of the symptoms of possibly having fibroids.
Coach,
10 days or longer. Wow. So yes, if you have your cycle for 7+ days, it's something you should look into. It's a red flag that you should probably go see your doctor. You should probably go get checked out with your OBGYN. You should probably look into that, because these are signs and red flags that there's a possibility that you may have or be experiencing fibroids. And people don't realize it or know it, because I remember when I was younger, around, and I think I said this before, I started to have 7-day cycles around the age of maybe 18, between like 18 and 20-ish, right? And I thought it was normal. When I first got my cycle, it was like 5 days. So I'm like, normal 5 days, right? After, the older I got, the longer my cycle was. And I went from having my cycle from 7 days to around 30, having them for 10 days. And then when I turned 41, my cycle would fluctuate from 7 to 10 days to like the longest, right before my procedure, the longest cycle that I had was for 31 days.
Okay, so I was literally over here thinking like, that's like the woman with issue of blood in a sense, right?
Yes.
Does she have had fibroids?
So, okay, so we wanted, this is a pencil.
This is a pencil. No doctor could heal. No physician could heal.
So, you know, we all, you know, we're all believers. So we gonna listen. We gonna be who we are, right? On this here line. It's an IG takeover. So, we're gonna talk about that, and I'm gonna share the woman with the issue of blood. If you all know anything about scripture, right? There is a story in the Bible about the woman with the issue of blood, and she had this issue and nobody could help her with her issue. She went to all of these doctors, right? Like some of us, you know, make it personal, right? Put yourself in the story. She went to the doctor and nobody could help her. It also says that she spent all the money that she had and could not get any help, right? She dealt with this blood issue for a very long time, and in those days, any woman that had, you know, blood issue were considered to be unclean. Nobody wanted to be around them. Nobody wanted to touch them. You know, they were considered to be ceremonially unclean, and they just had to stay in the house, right? But this woman heard about, you know, Jesus coming in town or whatever, and she just was at her wit's end, and she was desperate. Anybody ever been desperate for relief? Anybody's been desperate to get like this pain or this feeling out, or just not have to deal with the emotional trauma that comes along with you carrying or having a cycle that long? It's emotionally taxing, right? You have to go to work, you have to go to school,
and
you
then
have
you're
to
even just like being self-conscious because a lot of times you don't know what type of like odor comes with that.
Yes,
like the sanitary part of
the
it.
sanitary part. It's a
It's
lot
like
of upkeep.
You're just so
It's a lot of you got to shower 2 and 3 times a day.
Tamika said y'all better put this puzzle together. She might have had fibroids.
So I'm gonna get into that, right? So this woman had this issue, and so she had an encounter with the Savior, and then, you know, she desired to be made whole, and we find out that happened, right? What Drea just asked me is, could she have had fibroids? And so I personally looked this up, right? Because I am, you know, I'm mind, body, and spirit. All of that is who I am, right? But if you all look into it, do your own research, consider what I'm saying, and then come up with your own, right? Because I was like, how does this connect with who I am spiritually, right? What is fibroids? This me being a part of the ambassadors of fibroids. I mean, what does this really have to do with who I'm supposed to be spiritually? So I looked it up. Like, it has to be a connection, because you got to make this make sense for me. Why am I even a part of this?
Make it make sense.
So that's something we say, y'all. So I looked it up, and there is a term called menorrhagia.
How you spell that?
Menorrhagia.
Menorrhagia.
Menorrhagia. That's 5 syllables. If you look up menorrhagia, it's is it in the Greek or the Hebrew? You look this word up, and you will find the correlation between menorrhagia and fibroids.
Wow. See, I was in the spirit over here on the Lord's Day.
Tap in.
I know my words.
Tap in.
Anybody find that to be crazy?
That is
right?
crazy.
Like,
the Bible really.
There's nothing that we go through
that
hasn't been covered,
it's
right?
true.
There's nothing that we experience that there's not a text for, right? Whether it be a history book, or whether it be a Bible, or whether it be, you know, something that was formerly known. This didn't just come out of nowhere.
Somebody said they were diagnosed with menorrhagia at 18.
See, it's so whoever that is,
Brittany.
Brittany? Is that a blood?
My boo Brittany! I didn't even know.
Hey, Brittany, girl, is that? Did they say that was a blood issue, Brittany? check me.
It's crazy because she's my friend and we've never had this conversation.
You never had the conversation, right?
I just had to plug that in because I've talked to her all the time. She's never said anything about that. But how many of us have a relationship and don't speak of those things? You know?
It's so common.
Yeah, so we dealing with the history of it, and we're finding out more information about it. One of the things that I want to go back to is, what are some of the symptoms
She said yes to your question, by the way.
Yes, thank you. Confirmation comes. What are some of these symptoms that we may experience when we're dealing with this? And some of the symptoms are fatigue, right? Feeling overwhelmingly tired, feeling, once again, having a long cycle, having a long period from 7+ days, right? That's something that you definitely want to look into. Some of the other symptoms is increased pain, right? And the other one is, and you and I can definitely relate to this, right? Constant need to use the bathroom. Always having to pee. Frequently having to go, I gotta pee. Yeah. This one right here, I mean, she can't even drink it.
I know, listen.
We might have
I'm waiting in 2 minutes, I'm about to go run.
But these are symptoms and these are telltale signs that you may want to get this checked into. And I think I want to pencil here, ladies, every last one of you that are on here, it's important for you to go see your OBGYN.
Oh, I just went yesterday.
Yeah, this one, right?
Yes, I did, honey. And
that's a miracle.
We're so proud of her.
Listen, where's my sticker and my lollipop? Okay. Because y'all know.
What color? Cherry? I'm flipping a cherry.
Marriage will free you up.
It
right?
will.
It'll take away all the fear.
No, well, I wouldn't take it that far. It's still traumatizing.
Oh, well, don't tell the people that. We're going to tell the people that.
But you gotta go.
It can be traumatizing, but
it's a mental thing. It's a mental thing.
Prosperity for me says I have a scheduled fibroid embolization next week.
Okay, so we're going to talk about that, and I think that's amazing. That is amazing. And it's very important, ladies, that we go get checked out so that we can find out what's going on in our bodies. It's not just fibroids. There are other things that can be going on within the most private, intimate area on you, right? That's not exposed. So we don't know what's going on, right? So it's not like a bruise on your arm.
Right.
It's not like, something that you can see at face value because it's a hidden thing.
Yeah.
It's not even something that you can see on your area. You have to really have someone examine internally to kind of see what was going on or what's going on with you. I mean, it's something that you need really to get a testing, an MRI, a pelvic exam, right? Yeah. To find out these type of things, these intimate things that are going on with our body. And we're going to talk a little bit about how can I find out if I have them. You can definitely schedule an appointment with your doctor, schedule an appointment to let them know specifically when you call and make that appointment. Listen, I'm coming for my annual examination. When I'm there, I also want you to check for this. Okay, so language is very key. Communication with your doctor is very key. You can't just go in there, have a regular pap smear, and then you're good. You have to say, I found out this in my lineage. I found out this about my family. And I want to see if I have a trait. I want to see if it's possible that I have something, or is this passed down, or can I get this? Because you have to be concerned about what's going on even in your family dynamic. It can be something that is affiliated, right? I'm more inclined to get it.
Kelly on Facebook, Kelly Kern, she says, before my histo, I did. Before her histo, she bled like that.
Oh, wow. And so that's one of the reasons, right? Why we have to have these exams so we can find out. And so how are fibroids treated? We just heard someone say a hysterectomy. And that is something that the doctors will definitely press. Why? Let's get into the meat of it.
More money, more money,
more money. Can we do it again?
More money, more money, more money.
All about the Benjamins, baby.
What?
All right.
Bring it in.
Bring it back.
Yes. So this is what I wanted to tell you guys. See, we got a lot of stuff going on here, but this is girl time.
You're supposed to have delivery. You're supposed to have people coming tonight.
It's the IG takeover. We got the delivery man here delivering the food. Alex is here delivering our food.
Shout out to Planet Wings.
Shout out to Planet Wings. I don't eat wings, Shout out to
You
Panties.
got a cheesecake.
I got a quesadilla.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
Hi, Alex.
Y'all made me go to Double Tree.
Oh,
That's funny.
that's funny. Yeah, so we're gonna let her handle that.
Yeah, well, just
We're gonna let her handle that.
Sorry.
Bring it in, sis.
Bring it in. So yes, one of the things that is very important for us to know is that there are different treatments that you can have when you have fibroids. You can have a hysterectomy,
Right.
which some people, most doctors will recommend that you have a hysterectomy.
That's
and
the removal of the
hysterectomy
uterus, right?
is to remove your uterus altogether.
The whole thing.
Right? It takes your uterus out, and you are no longer able to give birth. And you will not be able to conceive. And I also have been informed that your bladder actually goes low after that procedure, and it is the most expensive out of all of them.
That's why they push for it then.
But you know what I also don't care for personally about the hysterectomy is that it takes away the opportunity for you to be a parent.
Yes.
I think that is something that unless you have children, if you're okay with that, that's fine. But for someone nowadays who are younger, younger women are being detected with fibroids, and they're being informed that they should have a hysterectomy, and they're 35 and under, right? You haven't even begun to have a family or have life yet as it relates to that, but it does something to you that causes a lot of scar tissue, right? It causes a lot of pain. The recuperation period is much longer, and so you have to go through so many different experiences or painful situations in order to rid yourself of that procedure. And I feel like it actually takes away of that feminine quality that we all wanted when we were little girls, to be able to still carry and have our, I mean, the menstrual cycle can be a pain, but it's definitely something that separates us from men.
Yeah.
It's something that reminds us that we're different than the man. And so with the myomectomy, which is the other option, it is a procedure where they remove the fibroids, but you keep your uterus. And so what I was told when I was going through my experience is that with the myomectomy, the fibroids can actually come back. It's not a guaranteed, option for you no longer to have fibroids, but they can actually come back. And if you're not treating it or having the right foods, it can definitely come back. I see somebody talking on Instagram, so I want to pay attention.
She said
to what
she asked a question. I'm trying to find it. Tamika said she had a question.
Can you re-ask the question? Anyone that's
re-ask the question.
But
there is someone that says, I'm 21 and was diagnosed with fibroids in January, but I've been having excruciating pain since I was 16 and put it off as severe PMS. Speak to that, because she's 21.
21 years old. This is my advice to you. You're 21 years old. Your life is really just starting, right? You're really entering womanhood. You're really entering, who you're becoming as a woman. I would strongly suggest that you see your doctor, that you see your OBGYN, that you visit fibroidfighters.org. You visit our website so that you can see your options, so that you can see opportunities that are out there for you. There are so many choices that you can take, which brings me to the choice and the option that I took, right? Having the fibroids that I had, one of the symptoms that I had was I would get anxiety, right? Because I didn't know what was going on with my body. So all of this stuff was causing me to have, now I knew I had fibroids for 20 years. Right? It's not like something that I didn't know.
Right.
I knew, but I did not know that it really took over my body. Like I didn't know that it had the power or the capability to take over my whole body. Like it controlled everything about me. And so when I was having these anxiety attacks, there are times when I passed out. There were times when I just needed like all air to be in my face. I just felt that I had the shivers. Yes, Wilda was there with me a couple of times when I just felt like out of sorts, like I was gonna die.
Wow.
I felt like I was gonna die, y'all.
Crazy.
And all of this was because of the fibroids in my body taking over and consuming all of the blood that was in me. And so we all know, right, or some of us may know, that blood and oxygen are connected, right? So if it's taking away my blood, it's sucking out my blood, it's actually taking my ability to breathe properly. It's literally knocking the wind, or feels like it's knocking the wind out of me, and I don't even have the ability to climb stairs. There were days when I was climbing the stairs to my apartment, and I couldn't get all the way up the stairs because I was out of breath.
Yeah.
Not because I couldn't walk, but because I had no breath. I had no wind in me. And this is the capability of the enemy of fibroids. I would call fibroids a complete enemy. It distracts and can destroy your whole life. It can destroy your life with your family. It can destroy, like I told you guys before, it can destroy your time with your friends because you feel like you can't go anywhere, you feel like you can't do anything. And it can definitely affect your relationships, as far as marriage, as far as your, intimate relationships, because you don't want to be around someone, they don't want to be around you because you're always moody, right? If you're in a marriage and you have to, you're cranky, all of these things can happen because of fibroids. And
yeah, we have a question in the chat.
What's the question?
Tamika asks, can you connect an experience in your life to the fibroids? Meaning, do you think it manifested in your body from an experience?
Can I connect an experience in my body that...
Can you connect an experience in your life to fibroids?
So there was an experience that I had in March, so if I'm reading you correctly, where I had my pap smear, right? I had my annual exam, and then 2 days later, the doctor called me. She called me in while I was sitting at work, and she said, I need you to go to the hospital right now. And so I was like, wait, what? She said, I need you to go right now. She said, your blood count or your hemoglobin level is at a 2.6. The average hemoglobin level should be at least at a 12.
I was about to give you a good my God.
Give it to me.
My God.
My God.
My God.
2.6 was my blood level.
That's crazy.
My hemoglobin level. How scary is that,
That is scary.
right? And when she told me I had to go right away, I was now anxious again. Like that anxiety started to hit me again. And she knew that that's why she told me don't drive. She said, don't drive, have someone take you or get in a cab. You cannot drive.
Wow.
And I think you picked me up that day. I had to be dropped off to the hospital. And this is during the pandemic, right? When I got there and I told them what my doctor said, y'all know this, right? Whenever you go to the emergency room, they have you in there for hours. When I tell you I got there and they told me, come down. And I was like, now I'm even more nervous because they never take anyone right away. And so they went and they drew my blood, and I'm like, you taking blood? The lady just told me that I got no blood, right? Because I'm just, ignorant to the fact of how this works. We got a lot of questions. I want to answer these questions. So I'm going to finish my story.
We're going to answer your questions.
I'm glad y'all asked me questions, but this is important. I want you all to go see your doctor.
Schedule the appointment tomorrow.
Schedule the appointment. Go to Fibroid Fighters on IG, on Instagram. Go to Fibroid Fighters and tap into the link and really visit and find out what's going on. It's actually very important that you all look into this because it is not a game. You can go to www.fibroidfighters.org and you can find out so much information. And also, before I forget, I would like anybody that's had an experience to go on that website and share your story with what it is that you've experienced. So I went back to my story. I went to the emergency room. They drew my blood. And when she came back, she told me that my blood level was at a 2.6. When I tell you, I was so unbelievably nervous, unbelievably scared. And I never in my life had to spend an overnight in the hospital. When I tell you I hate hospitals, I hate hospitals because when I go there, I'm going either for ministry or I'm going because somebody just got sick or somebody passed away. It's never good. It's never good in my eyes.
You don't associate good with
I don't associate the hospital with anything good. So it makes me feel a little, so to know that I had to spend the night there was just really, I had time to really think, Gina, you got to get your life together. Like, you got to get your life, right?
Yes.
So I'm laying in a hospital bed. I had to have 3 units of blood. I had to have a blood transfusion. 3 of these bags, this size, right, of blood had to be given to me before I was even able to leave the hospital. That was the most scariest experience because, for one, I'm looking at it like, wait, whose blood is this? I'm thinking all kinds of thoughts. Like, I'm thinking about those things in addition to, wow, I could have, because the doctor said to me prior to her giving me the units of blood, we don't even know how you're still alive. We don't know how you're able to walk. How are you able to, because I told her that I was walking, I was on the Como Bridge, and I was doing my walks, right? And she was like, how did you walk without passing out? How are you able to work without fainting? At that level of blood, how are you even operating in any capacity? She said, you were driving? Like, she was amazed. She was floored at the fact that I was able to just do life having that experience. So I wanted to share that's to me, God, hope I answered your question, is what I connect with fibroids. So
she was just to clear up, she was asking about trauma before the fibroids, like if there was something traumatic that may have caused them to manifest in you.
Nothing traumatic that happened that caused the fibroids to manifest. The only thing that I can possibly say is they did say that one of the signs or telltale signs is when you have your cycle very young, that this may be something that is connected to you possibly having fibroids. So it wasn't a traumatic experience. It was just a part of my journey.
Yeah, a few comments. Whitten Dree says, I am 44 and I have 2 children. I have fairly large fibroids, 7 centimeters, etc. I don't intend to have any more children. Would you recommend hysterectomy?
I personally,
she says she's 44.
I personally would still not recommend a hysterectomy. This is why I'm going back to that, right? Hysterectomy is one of the most expensive procedures you can possibly have. So the intent is really not about you, it's about the money. Why am I saying that? Because at the age of 44, your estrogen level decreases. You are almost, most women are almost on the verge of becoming premenopausal. So when you become premenopausal, the possibility of you having a UFE procedure, which I'm going to talk about, and fibroids coming back is very, very slim. So at my age, at your age, I would recommend you have the uterine fibroid embolization. Why? Because the odds of fibroids returning at our age is very, very low.
So she's answering your questions as well about the fibroids returning after those, I believe it was makeup by sand. She asked about it reoccurring.
Right. So fibroids can reoccur. Like, I'm going to be completely 100 with you all. Fibroids can return no matter what procedure you have, with the exception of hysterectomy. The only reason why you cannot get fibroids again with the hysterectomy is because they completely remove your uterus. However, there are other things that come along with that happening, right? Housewives of Atlanta. I give this story all the time because Cynthia Bailey's, there was an episode where Cynthia Bailey had the uterine fibroid embolization procedure. And I never heard of this before. And so I said, wow, I watched this show, which I don't watch stuff like this, right? I don't normally watch this stuff. I tried to watch, and I think I got to season 1 like years ago. And I started from the very beginning, and I got to this episode. And I realized why I had to watch this show. It was because of Cynthia Bailey that I was intrigued about the uterine fibroid embolization procedure. And Cynthia, wherever you are.
Thank you, girl.
Thank you, girl. Thank you, girl.
Thank you,
It was the best decision I could have ever made. Why? Why am I pro uterine fibroid embolization? I'm going to tell you now. Because I had this procedure. It's not a surgery. That's plus number one. I didn't have a surgery. I had a procedure, right? The procedure that I had only required me to go in to see a radiologist for me. This is what I did. And the procedure is a few hours, and then you get to leave like 2 to 3 hours later. That's what they offer. And I chose to stay overnight because I didn't want to feel any pain, residual pain afterwards. So I personally chose to stay overnight so that I can get the care that I need, because I was like nervous and scared, right? So that's what I chose to do. But you don't have to do that with the uterine fibroid embolization procedure. You don't have to stay overnight. You can have that procedure, stay for 2 hours or 3 hours so that they can make sure everything is what it needs to be, and you leave right after that. That's plus number 2. The second plus is this procedure is more than half of how do I want to say it? How do I want to say it? Do it. It's 60% or more less expensive than the hysterectomy and the myomectomy. So between 50 to 60% less is the cost of this procedure than the other surgeries. So procedure, surgery. 8,000 plus or 2,000. What we talking about here? What we really weighing here, right? And in addition to that, the healing process. What could have taken me 3 to 6 months between the myomectomy and the hysterectomy took me 6 business days to recover from. I recovered in 6 business days, y'all. I was back to work.
Quick question: did you pass any fibroids after the procedure?
Yes, and it's the consult. We're going to talk about that too. With this procedure, because it's constantly working for you. Like even now, it's constantly working, right? Without the pain. Without the pain. Without the residual. Constantly working, huh? And so because of the way this procedure goes, I want to get into that. I think I was getting ready to go there. This procedure, when you have the procedure, what happens is the doctor goes in microscopically, and they go in through your wrist. There were times when they went in through your thigh, and I think some doctors still do that. My doctor went in through my wrist. Right? The radiologist went in through my wrist. And the only scar that I have comparative to a hysterectomy or a myomectomy, I don't even know if y'all can see it. Zoom in. Magnify and expand your lenses so you can see. This little dot is the only reminder that I had this procedure.
Oh, I'm about to run.
It's the same scar. And so the funny thing is, my friends are crazy. The funny thing is, the doctor told me after I shared this story when I went to the brunch that we had, or the dinner that we had in the city in July, because July is National Fibroid Awareness Month, right? And so I went to this brunch and I shared a little brief story about my fibroid experience. And the doctor told me after I finished speaking that even this dot is going to go away.
I can't take the revelation tonight. I can't take
it's
the revelation.
It's too much.
It's too heavy tonight. It's too heavy.
What is it? You all are hilarious. Yeah. Hey, Mom. Hi, Mom. Mom Reynolds, Greasy Mom.
Hey, Mom.
And so
somebody said they're going. She's getting prosperity for me. She said she's getting it. They're going in through her thigh.
Oh my. Wow. Okay.
So you got the
I got the one from the wrist.
The embolization.
The embolization. I got the uterine fibroid embolization. They go through your wrist.
Or sometimes
or your thigh. Yeah. Or they can go through your thigh. So they went through, this is how they explained it to me. They go in through your wrist, it comes up this way, they go in here, and they take that little tube and they close off the tumors, the pockets of tumors that are in your body, and they suffocate them. When they suffocate them, they actually have no way to get the blood, and so they no longer have the oxygen to feed off of.
It's too much tonight.
And they shrivel up and die.
It's Too much.
Right? They shrivel up and die on its own. And while they're dying, I can still work.
I'm overwhelmed. I'm overwhelmed.
While the fibroids are dying and shrinking, I can still work. I can still move. I'm still mobile. I'm still able to do whatever it is I want to do. And so I had originally taken a time off from work for disability. And I called them people so fast, and I said, listen,
I don't need it.
I don't need this.
Oh,
I don't need this. I can come back and I can work. What's interesting, and don't tell my doctor this. 2 days after my procedure, I was able to be mobile. I went to a service. I believe I went to a service. And then after that, I went to a christening. I was able to go, now, yes, granted, I was still uncomfortable. I was uncomfortable, but I wasn't moving like running or jogging. And so after 2 weeks from my procedure, 2 weeks, I went in to see my doctor, and they were like, wow, you look amazing. And I was like, I feel amazing. And I was like, can I work out? And they was like, sure, why not? Ever since I left my doctor with the clean bill of health.
Clean.
When I tell you Gina works out every week,
and she do.
I work out every week.
And
why? Because I feel like I'm making up for the time that I couldn't.
Right.
I feel like I'm making up for the time that I wasn't able to move. Like, I can run and not be winded.
And not be weary. See, y'all play too much. Y'all play too much.
Oh my God.
You play at the same time. Y'all play too much.
It's a takeover, y'all. Fibroid Fighters, Fibroid Fighters. Hey, y'all gave me the mic.
Your stomach strength. They want to know your stomach strength. Did it shrink? Did it shrink, sis? Snatch back.
No girdle, child.
I got no waist
I got no waist.
Snatch back.
Somewhere over there.
You see how we can go right in and out of this? So, yes, it is still shrinking. It is still working because, like I said, it's progressively leaving me, shrinking and going out of me. And I want to, you know what? Can we give them the illustration?
Go ahead and grab the
So, because,
the
you know,
picture.
Sometimes he has to work in illustrations, huh?
We've been illustrating all night.
We've been illustrating.
My God.
Y'all see this?
It's a little.
See the ring light.
Okay, yeah, do it like that.
These spots that you see, these dark spots, those are the fibroids that were in my body. These are the fibroids, y'all, that were in my body. All these dark spots were the fibroids that were consuming me.
Can I just tell you what somebody said? Prosperity for me. She just been rocking with us all night. Thank you.
Thank you, Prosperity.
But
everybody.
She said, I'm glad I clicked on here. It was God giving me comfort, and He does that, sis.
Wow.
He will have you click on a live. He will have you go to Housewives of Atlanta. He will have you get information because He loves you.
Yeah.
He doesn't want us to be ignorant concerning anything.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
So thank you for rocking with us, everybody. This has been awesome.
So when I ask and when I consider why I'm on this journey, why I was like given the opportunity, I said I have to be a part of this.
Right.
I said I have to be a part of this. I just experienced this. I just went through this. And when I went and I had that dinner with the fibroid awareness group, I said they're sharing stories, and some people didn't have the uterine fibroid embolization. They're sharing their stories about the pain that they experienced through a hysterectomy.
Right.
So there are people that you can go to that have had, the hysterectomy and the myomectomy, others procedures. Dr. Kim Lee had the hysterectomy.
Hey, First Lady.
I believe it was Toya
Yes.
what's the show?
Is it
Little Wings. I don't want to associate.
No, don't
Toya.
Is it Love and Hip Hop?
Toya had.
Toya Wright. Isn't it Toya Wright?
She had the procedure, the myomectomy procedure.
She don't want to
and she mentioned when she was on her takeover or her live when she did this that they came back. So hear me when I say
she did what?
She did the myomectomy. She just had the fibroids removed because she said that she didn't know that the UFE, the uterine fibroid embolization, existed. How many before you get there? How many of you have never heard of the uterine fibroid embolization? Send me some hearts if you've never heard of this procedure. Send me some hearts. Send me some love. Send me something so I can know.
UFE.
That you've never heard of this procedure. If you've ever heard of the procedure, send me some hearts. If you've heard of the procedure. because I want people to know that this is not something that they talk about, y'all.
Right.
This is not something that they give us the opportunity to know about. And this has been around for quite a few decades. And they've been hiding this information from us.
Yes.
They've been hiding this procedure from us.
Not until this year.
Not until this. And why have they been hiding it? Because it does not bring money and income into their pockets. And it's sad to say that, and not only that, they don't tell you about this. This is the kicker, ladies. They don't tell us about this because the doctors don't perform this procedure. So your OBGYN, they're not going to tell you because they don't gain anything from it. Right. They have to send you out to a place that actually performs the procedure. I had to go to a radiologist to get my procedure done. And it's lucky for me that when I came into the office, when I actually studied, because Cynthia Bailey mentioned it on the show. After she mentioned it on the show, I looked it up. Because they didn't give me much information from the show, but I looked her up and her procedure to find out more about Cynthia Bailey's story with fibroids. And so I read, she has a blog out. If you guys want to go and read that, Cynthia Bailey has a blog out about her experience with fibroids. And it was then that I went back to my doctors and I said, what about this one? I heard about the hysterectomy. I heard about the myomectomy. What about this one? And the doctor looked at me like, oh,
how you know?
Who told you? How do you know about this? You know, I got that look. And I'm saying knowledge is power, ladies. If you don't get anything else from me tonight, get the knowledge that you need so that you can be informative when you go to your doctor.
2 things from Instagram. Does it keep you from being fertile? Does it keep you
No.
Okay.
You can still have children.
Okay, and does, when they do the procedure, does anything come off? They say like little fibers or something come off into you when they go in with the whatever they're going in with? They said that it could, whatever they're using, could leave fibers. Like residue?
I don't have that story.
Okay.
I'm not going to tell you no. I will tell you that I have not read anything like that. I'm not saying that what you're saying is not possible, but go on fibroidfighters.org. And that information will be available to you and doctors. You can actually communicate with the doctors and they can give you some intel about what can happen, the residual effect. That is not my story, but it may be possible for other people.
Makeup by Sand said that in Canada, these options are all cost covered.
Oh,
can you imagine?
Listen,
let's go to
do it for the USA, Lord.
Yeah. Do it for us. Do it for us.
Do it for New York.
Before you take me to Eden, take me to Canada.
Canada's where is that?
Passionate Aries 87 says, "Wow, glad you said that because I definitely was going to mention this to my doctor when I go this month."
Please do. Please do.
Amazing.
And there are fibroid centers all over the world. New York has an overwhelming amount of fibroid centers that you can go to if you are interested to go to the place that I'm personally affiliated with through being an ambassador with this company, fibroidfighters.org. So you can go to one of the centers. I know that New Rochelle has one. I know that there is one in New York City. I know that there are different sites and places where you can go and you can get a consultation. So please go onto the website and look up fibroidfighters.org. Go to the website and look up consultation and look up some of the questions that you're all even asking me to get confirmation of what we talked about tonight. Was there somebody else?
No, but I just want to interject this. I tried something, and I told you about that, this past
she's
cycle, right?
Something very funny.
I was on TikTok, and they had these period panties. Girl, they work.
Girl,
it work.
Can somebody make an ambassador for the
period panties work?
Listen, before you get to the place where you need to wear period panties.
No, I don't have fibroids. I'm just saying, I just flow heavy, and you know you go to sleep and be concerned sometimes like that, and especially for fibroids, right? You would probably.
So wait, you don't have to wear a tampon or
no, girl.
No,
it goes from the rooter to the tutor, and it's a panty. I'm trying to tell. Get on it. Get on it.
Before you get on that, get on the phone and call your
doctor.
Yes,
that too.
And find out what's going on in your body, okay? Have we answered all of the questions? Because I don't want to keep you, but I do want to show you this just as an illustration of what's possibly going on in your body. This is, can you all see it? It's like a glare. Can you see it?
They can see it there, and then can they see it over there?
Okay.
Pull it down somewhere.
There you go. That's perfect. That's perfect.
Yep.
Okay. So these are the possible sizes that can actually be in your body for the fibroids.
That watermelon is scary.
From the side of a seed to a lemon to an apple to a peach and even a pear and even a watermelon. That's how big these things can. And you see some women walking around and you've been wondering, you want to ask her if she's pregnant.
Girl, I did it.
But she's been looking like that for about 2 years,
Yes,
about 3 years.
she's
And
still
you're like,
carrying.
ain't no way sis is still
Right,
pregnant.
right.
It's a possibility that she has fibroids.
That's crazy.
And so I think that it's important, ladies, to start having the conversations with your friends, with your girlfriends, with your sisters, like your blood sisters, right?
That too.
Because I have an older sister that had the procedure, and she had the hysterectomy. And she chose that procedure because, you know, she had already had 2 kids and she felt like that was the best option. I didn't know at the time that UFE existed because I would have even told my sister to do this procedure.
Yeah.
Why? Because your estrogen level more than likely is not strong enough after a certain age for you to even get the fibroids back. So somebody is calling someone. Is that me?
That's all you. That's an Android ring.
To Andrew.
I'm just saying. It just sounds like.
So visit fibroidfighters.org.
Amazing.
Visit the period tracker, women, so you can see what your cycle should be.
Yes.
So you can see where you should be, and the period tracker can kind of tell you maybe you should look into this. Maybe you should investigate this. Also, go on to the fibroidfighters.org and you can actually see that you can share your story. And by sharing your story, somebody can actually look into that and communicate with you on the best method that's going to work for you. So I hope you all enjoyed this. I hope you all enjoyed my friends, Wilda, Jane Martin Carr, and my sis,
It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure.
We had a great time with you. If you enjoyed this, please like, please share, please tell someone else that we're having a necessary conversation. It is intimate, it is personal, but it is necessary. It is intimate, it is personal, but it's necessary. And I believe that I am on this journey for a purpose. I believe that there's more to us than to just do some of the things that we do. We need to be whole. And that means mind, body, and spirit, right? I can't be spirit without my body. Hear what I'm saying? I cannot be and do what it is that I know I'm assigned and called to do without having a healthy body to actually go out into the world and be all of the things that I've been purposed to be. So your body is your temple. Your body is important. Please take care of your temple. Please make the appointment and do it today. Your life matters. Your health matters. And I would love to talk more with you about this. If you'd like to inbox me and say, Gina, listen, I want to share my story. You know how many women have come to me and told me about what they've experienced, and they've asked me, what do I think they should do? And I'm here to tell you, I'm open. My door is open to at least give you some options, because it's all about giving you options and giving you choices. The doctors won't do it, but G will. I'm going to give you the options, and I'm going to try my best to lead you to the right doctors to get you the help that you need. I love you. I thank you for joining. My sisters, I thank you for joining. We love it. We love you. Have a great night.
Have a good night, everybody. Thanks for rocking with us.
Thank you for watching.